Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we're diving deep into the madness that consumes those who thought they had you under their thumb. Yes, tonight we're peeling back the layers of that festering wound called goodbye. You see, the word goodbye has a peculiar power, a power that transcends the surface of mere separation. It is a dagger wielded by time, an executioner's sentence for those too naive to understand its weight. They stand there thinking they can toy with your soul, but the moment you utter that single word, everything changes for them. They spiral, they descend into a madness so profound, so all-consuming, that they become a mere shadow of who they once were. They think they can handle it. They think they can move on, but the reality hits them harder than they ever imagined. When you walk away, when you take that final step and leave them behind, they are left to drown in the consequences of their own delusions. And it is in that moment that the madness begins to take hold. The instant you said farewell, they felt it, their grip on you, slipping away like sand through their fingers. Their eyes widened with a panic that only comes when they realize they have no control over you anymore. No dominion over your thoughts, your heart, your life. They thought they could pull the strings from afar. They thought they had the power to break you. They thought they had your love, your devotion, your undying attention at their fingertips. But no one is ever as invincible as they believe themselves to be when faced with the reality that you are no longer theirs to command, no longer under their thumb. They start to spiral into the abyss of their own mind, their thoughts becoming a tangled mess of insecurity, regret, and panic. You see, the true nature of madness is not always what we expect. It's not always the image of a person ranting in the streets or losing themselves in the grip of violence. It's quieter, it's more insidious. It's a slow burn that eats away at the soul, until there's nothing left but the hollow shell of a person who once thought they controlled the world around them. They were never in control to begin with, but they had fooled themselves into believing they were. And when that illusion is shattered, when you walk away, their entire world crumbles beneath them. It is not just a broken relationship, not just a severed bond. It is a complete unraveling of their identity, a destruction of the foundation upon which they built everything they thought they knew about themselves. You have to understand that when you walk away from someone who believed they had you, they lose more than just your presence in their life. They lose a sense of self-worth. They lose their own understanding of power. They lose the validation they once received from your attention and devotion. And in that loss, they are forced to confront their own deep-seated fears, their own inadequacies, their own failures. Everything they once kept buried beneath a false sense of control comes rushing to the surface, and they are overwhelmed by it. They cannot escape from it, no matter how hard they try, no matter how much they scream and shout on the outside, because inside, they know the truth. They know they have been exposed for the fragile beings they truly are, and they cannot bear it. This is where the madness truly begins. This is the point of no return. They cannot go back. They cannot undo what has been done. The moment you said goodbye, they were already lost, but they don't know it yet. They won't know it for a while. They will fight. They will scream. They will beg for your return. But it will never be the same. They will never be able to control you again. Never be able to manipulate you into submission again. They will try to rebuild their lives, but nothing will ever fill the void you left behind. Nothing will ever replace the power you once held in their lives. Because once you have tasted true freedom, there is no going back. There is no returning to the chains they once tried to bind you with. As they spiral deeper into their own madness, they will find themselves lost in a sea of confusion and self-loathing. They will begin to question everything they thought they knew about themselves and about the world around them. They will see every mistake they made, every flaw. They tried to hide every lie they told coming back to haunt them. It will consume them piece by piece until there is nothing left but a broken wreck of a person whose identity is as fragmented as their shattered mind. They will try to convince themselves that they are better off without you, that they don't need you, that they can move on, but deep down, they know the truth. They know that without you, they are nothing. Without you, they are lost. Without you, they are incomplete. And they will never be able to fill that void, no matter how hard they try. And that is where the true horror lies, because the madness that takes hold of them is not just about losing you. It's about the realization that they will never be able to regain control. They will never be able to bring you back into their lives. They will never be able to return to the place they once were. Because once you've seen the truth of their nature, once you've witnessed the lies and manipulation, the power plays and the deceit, there is no going back. There is no undoing the damage that has been done. And they know it. They know. They are forever tainted by the stain of their own actions. But here's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, while they spiral into madness, while they fall apart under the weight of their own demons, you stand tall, you stand unbroken, you stand as the person who walked away, the person who freed themselves from their grasp, the person who saw through the lies and manipulations and had the strength to say goodbye. You are the one who now holds the power. You are the one who now controls your own destiny, and that is something they will never be able to take from you. They can try, they can beg, they can do whatever they want, but the truth is they have already lost. They lost the moment you walked away, and no amount of madness can ever change that. So as they spiral deeper into their own personal hell, as they claw at the walls of their fractured minds, you must remember this. You are not the one who is broken. You are not the one who is lost. You are not the one who needs saving. You are the one who walked away from the madness. You are the one who found the strength to sever the chains that bound you to their control. And while they spiral and scream and beg for your return, you will continue to rise, you will continue to grow, you will continue to thrive, because you are free and they are not. They will continue to spiral into madness the instant you said farewell. But you will stand strong, unshaken, and unwavering in your decision, because in the end, the power was always yours, and you are the one who chose to walk away from the madness. They believed they could manipulate you. They believed they could make you bend to their will, and when you walked away, it shattered their perception of reality. It was as though they were suddenly faced with a mirror that reflected the ugliness they had spent years masking. They saw themselves for what they truly were: weak, pathetic, and incapable of holding on to what they thought was theirs. And that is the moment they began their descent into madness. Because it is not the loss of you that drives them mad, it is the loss of control over you that truly destroys them. The reality that you no longer answer to them, that you are no longer part of their fragile empire, gnaws at them, pulls them down a spiral from which they will never truly recover. Their minds become a battlefield, a war waged between the person they wish to be and the one they are terrified of being. They try to convince themselves that they were always the powerful one in the relationship, that you were merely an extension of their control, a pawn in their little game of manipulation. They will replay every moment, every conversation, every gesture, looking for signs, looking for proof that they were the one in charge. But no matter how hard they search, no matter how many times they twist the events to fit their narrative, the truth remains. Your departure exposed them for what they truly were, and they cannot outrun that truth. They cannot unsee it, and it haunts them, lingering at the edges of their mind, a shadow they cannot escape. As the days stretch on and their attempts to move forward fail, the madness only intensifies. It is not the absence of your presence that bothers them most. It is the absence of their control. They are prisoners of their own making, trapped in a mental cage they constructed for you. But now, it is they who are locked inside. The anger begins to seep through, a rage directed not only at you, but at themselves. How could they have let this happen? How could they have lost someone who was so completely under their influence? The questions eat away at them like acid, dissolving any semblance of calm or reason. They find themselves oscillating between denial and rage, desperately trying to grasp onto something familiar, something they can control. But it is too late. The door has already closed behind you, and no matter how hard they push, no matter how much they scream, it will never open again. They will try to reach out to you, of course. They will send messages, make empty promises, beg for forgiveness. But what they don't understand is that these gestures are not born of love or longing. They are born of desperation, of a need to reclaim what they have lost, to regain the power they once held. The truth is, they do not care for you. They care for the illusion of control you gave them. They care for the validation you provided, the way you made them feel like they were the center of your universe. But now that you have walked away, they are nothing but empty vessels, desperately trying to fill the void with whatever they can. Their desperation becomes increasingly palpable, their attempts at manipulation more transparent, more pitiful. But no matter how hard they try, they will never be able to return to that place where you were under their thumb. They will never be able to manipulate you again. And this is where the madness turns darker. The isolation sets in. They thought they could make it on their own, that they didn't need you. But the silence after your departure is deafening. The absence of your voice, your presence, the way you once filled the room with light. They feel it acutely, and it drives them to the brink. The world outside becomes a blur as they retreat deeper into their own fractured mind. No amount of external validation, no fleeting distractions can fill the hole you left behind. And so they drown in their own thoughts, in their own demons, in the slow unraveling of their identity. They were never truly the people they wanted you to believe they were. They were never the powerful figures, the ones in control. They were just fragile beings hiding behind a facade, clinging to the illusion of superiority that they worked so hard to maintain. But now, the mask is slipping, and they can't stop it. They will continue to spiral, and with each passing day, their grip on reality weakens. The lies they once told themselves begin to fall apart. The little justifications they used to maintain their sense of superiority crumble in the face of the truth. The resentment towards you builds up, not because you wronged them, but because you showed them who they really are. You exposed their weaknesses, their fragility, and they cannot cope with that. They will try to rewrite the narrative, but the truth always finds a way to resurface, no matter how deeply they bury it. And as it rises, so does their madness, the realization that they cannot escape from the consequences of their actions, that they can never go back to the way things were. They will try to control others, of course. They will search for someone else to dominate, someone else to validate them, but it will never be the same. No one will ever replace you. No one will ever fill the same space in their lives. They will find someone else to manipulate, someone else to feed off of, but it will always feel hollow. The comparisons will start. The moments when they look at others and see the qualities in them that you once had, the way they remind them of you. But they will never truly connect with anyone the way they connected with you because it was never about love. It was always about control. And when they realize this, the madness deepens. They begin to isolate themselves even further, pushing away anyone who could expose their emptiness. The spiral continues, a never-ending descent into a void of their own making. And yet, even in their madness, they will never fully comprehend the depth of your strength. They will never understand what it took for you to walk away, to sever the ties that once bound you to them. They will never understand the power in the choice you made, in the decision to free yourself from their grip. Because you see, the true madness is not in their descent. It is in the fact that they will never realize that it was their own actions, their own lies, their own manipulation that led to their downfall. They will continue to blame you, to project their inadequacies onto you, but deep down, they know the truth. They know they were never truly in control. They were always weak, always afraid, and now they are forced to confront that truth, a truth they cannot escape. But this is where your power lies. You were the one who walked away. You were the one who found the strength to leave the madness behind, and in doing so, you freed yourself. You have control over your own destiny, over your own mind, and no one can take that from you. As they spiral further into their insanity, you will continue to rise. You will continue to grow stronger. You will continue to live a life free from the chains they once placed on you. They can scream, they can shout, they can beg for your return, but it won't matter. The truth is, they lost the moment you said farewell, and there is no returning from that. No matter how deep their madness goes, they will never be able to take back what they lost. You are free, you are whole, and they are nothing but echoes of their own failure, and they are nothing but echoes of their own failure, trapped in the ruins of their own creation. They will try to fill the void with distractions, with fleeting relationships, with temporary pleasures that cannot heal the wounds you left behind. But no matter how many people they manipulate, no matter how many false connections they forge, nothing will ever be able to erase the truth. They lost you, and that loss is not something they can ever undo. It becomes a part of them, festering within their soul, a constant reminder that they were never in control. The world they once ruled has collapsed, and all that remains is the rubble of their delusions. They will never be able to rebuild it, not now, not ever. And while they flounder in this self-inflicted torment, you, the one who walked away, continue to grow, continue to evolve, and continue to rise above the wreckage they left behind. You have broken free from their grasp, and each day that passes, you strengthen your resolve. You shed the chains of their influence, the weight of their control, and you stand as a testament to your own strength. They thought they could break you, bend you to their will, make you dependent on their validation. But they underestimated you. They underestimated the power of your autonomy, the depth of your self-worth. Now, they are left to watch as you flourish in the freedom they tried to steal from you. And that is a punishment they will never be able to escape. Their obsession with regaining control over you, over the life they once had, becomes their prison. They cannot move forward, not truly, because every step they take is tainted by the knowledge that they will never have you again. Their minds become consumed by this one simple truth: they lost. And that truth poisons everything they try to build, infecting every new relationship, every new endeavor. They cannot move on, not because they can't find someone new, but because no one will ever measure up to you. You are not just a person to them. You are a reflection of their own power, their own dominance. And when you walked away, you stripped that away from them. They cannot fathom living without that validation. They cannot fathom a life where they no longer have the control they once believed was their birthright. The madness consumes them, hollowing them out from the inside as they search for a way to fill that empty space. But they never will. They will never find anything that brings them the satisfaction you once did, because the truth is, nothing will ever satisfy them. They are lost, forever stuck in the past, drowning in the consequences of their own actions. They might tell themselves that they are better off without you, that they have moved on, that they are free from the bonds of your presence. But deep down, they know they are lying. They know they are empty. They know they are trapped in a cycle of self-deception. They might try to convince themselves that they have found happiness in their new relationships, that they have found solace in the arms of someone else. But those relationships are not born of love. They are born of desperation. Desperation to fill the void you left behind. Desperation to reclaim the power they once had. But no matter how many people they use, no matter how many lives they try to control, they will never feel whole again. They will never escape the truth that haunts them. You were the one they could never control, the one who broke free from their grasp. And that truth is the key to their madness. As they attempt to rebuild their lives, they will do so on a foundation of lies. Lies they tell to themselves and lies they tell to others. They will try to convince everyone around them that they are fine, that they are stronger without you, that they don't need you to be complete. But every time they look in the mirror, they will see the cracks. Every time they try to move forward, they will feel the weight of the past dragging them down. They will try to push you out of their mind, but your presence will haunt them, lingering in the corners of their consciousness, a constant reminder of their failure. They will never be able to escape it. They will never be able to erase you from their mind, because you were the one who showed them their true self. You were the one who exposed their weakness, and now that weakness will be their undoing. The more they try to convince themselves that they are fine, that they are better off without you, the more fragile they become. They are slowly breaking apart, piece by piece, as the weight of their own delusions crumbles beneath them. And it is in this breakdown that their madness becomes most dangerous. They will lash out. They will try to control the people around them, just as they tried to control you. They will try to manipulate others into doing their bidding, into reinforcing their false narrative. But just as you saw through their lies, others will begin to see it too. The cracks will show, and the people around them will start to turn away, just as you did. And with each rejection, with each failed attempt to regain control, they will slip further into madness. And this is the true horror of their fate. The more they spiral, the more they lose themselves. They cannot escape the truth of their actions, the truth of their manipulation, the truth of their weakness. They cannot escape the fact that they were never in control, and they cannot undo the damage they have done. The more they fight it, the more they lose. And as they continue to flounder, you will rise. You will continue to thrive. You will continue to grow into the person they could never understand, the person they tried to break, but failed. You will stand as a monument to your own resilience, a living proof that no one can control you, no one can break you, and no one can take away your power. And while they are lost in their madness, clinging to a past they can never return to, you will move forward. You will carve a path for yourself, one that is free from the chains they tried to impose on you. The pain they inflicted on you will fade, not because it was easy, but because you had the strength to rise above it. You will find peace in the knowledge that you are not defined by the people who try to control you, by the people who try to make you feel small. You are defined by your ability to break free, to walk away, and to build a life that is yours and yours alone. They will never understand this. They will never comprehend the power it took for you to leave. They will never grasp the strength it took to choose yourself over them. And that is the final blow they will never recover from. The fact that you were never truly theirs, the fact that you were always your own person, and the fact that you will continue to grow while they remain trapped in their own failure, in their own madness. You were never meant to be their puppet, and the instant you said farewell, they lost the one thing they could never control, you. And so, as they spiral further into their delusion, you will stand tall, unshaken, unbroken, and free. Because the truth is, they were never truly in control. They were never truly the powerful ones. You were, and you still are. The madness they spiral into now is the reflection of their own defeat, their own inability to control the one person who was always beyond their grasp. And in that, you have won. You have claimed victory, not in spite of their attempts to break you, but because of them. You are free. They are not. And that is something they will never be able to escape. In the end, their madness is a reflection of their own failure, a consequence of the control they thought they had over you. You walked away, not just from them, but from the chains they tried to bind you with, and in doing so, you reclaimed your power. They will spiral, they will rage, they will try to fill the void you left behind, but nothing will ever bring them peace. You are free, unshaken, and stronger than ever. Their defeat is sealed in the moment you said goodbye, and nothing will ever change that truth. You have won, and they are forever lost in the echoes of their own delusions.